When you are releasing an album or an EP, the order in which you structure your songs actually does matter a lot. On one hand, you should take stuff like tempos, overall vibes, and key centers in mind, because for most of the times, the songs are within the same genres and vibes, they are different, but some might be more similar to each other, and you definitely want to keep the listener interested while listening to the whole album so that they don't get bored after 2 or 3 songs that kinda sound the same. But you should also think of storytelling and meaning while structuring out those songs within the order of the album. It is easier on a concept album or just a regular album where there's singing on it and it's just not instrumental music, but in the case of my latest release song, Paths to Enlightenment, which you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at, not only is it the first song I'm releasing after a while of not posting, check my previous update video for more info, but it is also going to be the first song of my soon-to-be released 3rd EP. And I chose this song, again, because of its meaning. When I finished the song and I listened to it as a whole, I started thinking about it and I found a pattern throughout some of my songs. There are very much a couple of things that I like to do within a song, not only when it comes to structure and riffs, but also tempos. And on one hand, nowadays, I kind of try to run away from it a little bit so I just don't keep repeating myself, or at least I feel like I'm repeating myself, but also because different songs will have different vibes and different purposes, and if I just keep falling in the same trap of doing what feels comfortable to me, I might not actually be serving the song towards what I think it needs. And when I had that realization, the name Paths to Enlightenment came to me because now I know that if I want to do a song that sounds kind of like my songs, I should follow these rules and structures, like having the tempo around 130 to 140 BPM. I like to have these epic sounding melodies and do key changes, but I also like these breakdown riffs and these chaotic parts. And I like to switch up the order of stuff, like having the verse melody but with the bridge chords, and then switching it around and having the bridge melody with the verse chords. So in that way, I kind of been enlightened. I have a path towards the sort of sound that I usually go for. But since it also gave me that realization of there's definitely a couple of things that I usually fall into doing and might not experiment with new things, and what I should always worry about is serving the song, it was definitely a moment where everything cleared up and I was enlightened. So it is a little bit of a dual meaning for that name, but I think it worked out perfectly. And on one hand, not only is it cool to start out this album where you've been enlightened and now you know how things work and which direction you have to follow, but it is also one of those songs where it is very much a standard song of mine, so it definitely falls into the category of choose a first song that will leave people hooked into the sort of things that you usually do, so that the listener can have a general idea of what to expect from your album, but as they proceed through it, you then surprise them with the variety within your songs. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, Paths to Enlightenment, anywhere you listen to your music at, and let me know, do you have these habits when it comes to songwriting that you actively try to avoid in order to do different sounding things? While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week, and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day about those songs. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other ones, and don't forget to share them with a friend that might enjoy them too. Thank you so much for watching, it really means a lot, and I can only hope to see you in the next video. But until then, cheers! Tell me if I'm the only one who thinks like this. Don't we just associate some songs with specific guitars? Obviously, we might think of a specific guitar player when we hear a specific song, riff, or even a specific tone, and consequentially, we think of their guitars and gear. But what about our own songs? If you've seen any videos of mine, you've probably seen me playing this guitar. I mean, I play it on everything, including my latest release song, Paths to Enlightenment, which, if you haven't checked out, you totally should go. It's on my YouTube channel, but also pretty much any streaming platform that you can think of. And even though this guitar is probably like 85% of what you hear on that song, when I look back on it, I didn't even write it on this one. It was actually this one. And it's not a fancy guitar, it's a Taylor 210CE, but it was my first like decent acoustic guitar. If you look back on my YouTube channel, you'll actually see a video about this guitar on pretty much the week that I got it. And it was on that week that I was just messing around with these campfire cowboy open chords. And while strumming a D chord, I then added a sharp 11th. just for fun, which led me to playing around with some other chords that featured a note D, like B flat and G, add a strumming pattern, and there goes the riff for Paths to Enlightenment. I then ended up not thinking too much about it and just recorded it onto my phone to safekeep it for a rainy day, and then only a couple of weeks later, when I was messing around with this guitar, did I actually finish up the song and figured out the remaining riffs. This is obviously my Strat, and there are some other videos about it that you can go check out, and like many Strat players, I have it tuned down half a step to get a little bit closer to that Texas blues sound, which ended up bringing those D, B flat, and G chords a half step down. And I kinda felt like they sounded a little bit better half a step down. And sure, this guitar is featured in the song in little bits here and there, but when I think of this song, even though I wrote it on this one and I then recorded it on this one, I always associate it with a tuned to E flat Strat song. Even though it isn't one of those songs that really features that heavy neck pickup, Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan E flat sort of sound. But let me know what you think. Does this happen to you too? Do you associate certain songs with certain guitars? And in case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, Paths to Enlightenment. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing daily videos twice a day about sad songs. If you like this one, I'm sure the other ones are going to be straight up your alley. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video. You know that story of how David Gilmour was trying to play some sort of D minor chord and he messed up some of the fingering and accidentally he played the chord for Shine On You Crazy Diamond? I can't say it's something that happens very usually to me, but it has happened to me that I was trying to play something, I messed it up, and then figured out a section for a song. I was messing around with the riff to I'm Broken by Pantera, which is played on a different tuning, but it's split around in the E scale position of the pentatonic. But I was thinking to myself, oh yeah, but that song is down-tuned, right? So it's kind of in D. And I was just trying to figure out if there was a way to play it on the standard tuned guitar without having to down-tune. And I was just playing around with it. But as I was figuring out my song Paths to Enlightenment, which if you haven't, you can and should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at, that is in drop D. If I want to play that riff lower but in drop D, I have to move down from the 7th fret down to the 5th fret, but it retains the same frets on the 6th string. But because I was so used to play it in the down position, trying to figure out how to play it a tone down but in standard tuning, I ended up playing that alternate shape but on drop D tuning, which made it so that the notes on the lower string are now a full step down, and the riff went from sounding to... And it's nothing crazy, but it sounded really cool. So I ended up saving it for a rainy day, and when it came time to figure out my latest release song, Paths to Enlightenment, things just fit in the right place. I then messed with it a couple of times to give it some different grooves and make it a full breakdown section, and here's how it sounds in the context of the song. Has this sort of thing happened to you often, where you're trying to play something and end up playing something different and it stems out a whole different riff, maybe even a song out of it? Let me know. While you're at it, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll enjoy the other ones too. And don't forget to share them with a friend that might also enjoy them. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest release song, Paths to Enlightenment, anywhere to listen to your music at. And thank you so very much for watching, it really means a lot, and I can only hope to see you in another video. But until then, cheers! I've mentioned in other videos that one of the riffs that I really had to practice hard was the middle section of the song Ner by Guthrie Govan. The whole song is super cool, but that middle section with the classical music inspired 5 played in drop D with those add 9 chords, then different inversions, were not only one of those riffs that sticks in your mind because you had to practice them so hard, like some of these chords are just barbaric to play, even though Guthrie does play them with his eyes closed like it's no one's business. But it was also super influential to me because it made me look at drop D as not just a tuning that you use to get your guitar to sound a little bit lower and add some chunk to your riffs. It could actually be used in a more soft and melodic way that just felt super beautiful. And I actually used a similar concept with my latest released song Paths to Enlightenment, which if you haven't, you should and go check out anywhere to listen to your music at. The only problem was that I made a riff that was very difficult to play, and I don't know if subconsciously it was just a direct inspiration from Ner, and since I was doing those types of chords, my brain was like, hey, let's also do something that's really tricky to play. Not only did it consist of adding that 9th, but also the 5th and the 11th, as some of these higher extensions And even like that, it isn't super hard, but it can be a little bit tricky to add some of those extensions and let all the notes ring at the same time. But the song Path to Enlightenment, it's pretty much at twice the speed of that. And no matter how much I practiced, it wouldn't sound like I wanted it to sound just from the limitations of playing that fast. And so, because of that, I thought I'd take a page from Guthrie Govan's Ner again, but from the following section after those big chords, where Guthrie starts using multiple guitars at the same time, where they're all playing some different melodies that harmonize with each other and give you the feeling of that chord and riff, but it's just spread through the multiple voicings. Almost like an orchestra would do, but in this case, it's more like a classical guitar orchestra, but played on the electric guitar. You add the bass into it to have a little bit of a lower register, and you start doing different melodies, you start doing arpeggios, and you do it on different octaves, along with other melodies and other registers, and you get this very rich, deeper sound, which isn't really the same thing as just playing the riff, even if I could hypothetically play it that fast. But in some circumstances, like this one, where you figure out a riff that is just way too tricky to play, you might be able to use this trick to mask it around with other riffs and other melodies at the same time, and project the same idea just in a completely different way, which may or may not be suitable for your song and the whole vibe that you're trying to go for. Oh, and in the context of the song, it sounds like this. Let me know if you've ever tried this before. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out my latest released song, Paths to Enlightenment, anywhere you listen to your music at. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow and stay tuned for more because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing daily videos twice a day about said song. If you like this one, I'm sure you'll like the other ones. And if you have any friends that enjoy these sorts of videos, don't forget to share them with them too. Thank you so much for watching, I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, cheers! Does it happen to you that you're just playing around and figure out a little riff or an idea, and even though it sounds kinda cool, you don't really know where to use it? When it comes to my latest released song, Paths to Enlightenment, which if you haven't, you should go check out anywhere you listen to your music at, I actually even had one of those moments where you feel a bit of closure just from finally finding a home to that riff. And it wasn't even anything special, it was just one of those things where you're playing around with a chord, and you do a little bit of a sus thing, but other than that, I added a sharp 11th to it. It's nothing fancy to be played on the guitar, and it doesn't really sound like nothing too out of the ordinary. But I really like that little fill, passage, riff, whatever you want to call it, because not only does it give you the flavor of that sharp 11th chord, or maybe even a sus 9 sharp 11 chord, which gives you a little bit of a more sour, diminished E taste. And I figured it out a long time ago, but I just never really found a good place to fit it in. But it always stayed in the back of my mind, like, one day I'll get you out of the drawer and do something with you. And yeah, while working on the song Paths to Enlightenment, as I was trying to figure out a way to go from the chorus, it ends up in D major, but I wanted the song to modulate to D minor. I thought, why not use that riff, where I finish the chorus with the same passage it starts with, in this case a D add 9 chord, but when I go to that 9th, instead of resolving back to the D major, I resolve it to a D minor. And it sounded super cool. In fact, in the context of the song, it sounds like this. And it just fit like a glove. It gave the song the vibe that I was looking for, it gave me that transition that I wanted, and as I said before, it gave me the closure of knowing that that riff finally found a home, and it was a pretty awesome home. And the fun part of it is that it gets used more than once throughout the songs. It acts like a little bit of a theme. At the end of the song, since we come from a D minor section, then we resolve it with a D major section. It actually gives the song a little bit of a lift, which is cool to end up with, because it gives the song a more uplifting conclusion that perhaps you weren't expecting, and completely morphs the whole experience, and makes the whole song a little bit deeper and rich. Tell me about the riffs that you keep in your metaphorical or perhaps a legit drawer that are just safe kept for a rainy day. In case it wasn't obvious already, go check out the song Paths to Enlightenment anywhere you listen to your music at. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on all the notifications, follow, and stay tuned for more, because I'm releasing new songs every week and I'm releasing new videos every day, twice a day about said songs. If you like this video, I'm sure you'll like the other ones. I hope to see you in the next video, and until then, cheers!